Good evening. It's 6:44 and it's time for the nation's business. I'm Chevon Campbell.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
We are heading over to the west where Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says the female vendor captured in a video urinating in a plastic container near the Charles Gordon Market will be charged. The nearly 2-minute video, which has been circulating on social media, shows the elderly woman urinating in a half-cut plastic bottle, transferring the contents to a full plastic bottle, and then walking away without washing her hands.
The footage is sparking condemnation, with some comparing the woman to crab vendor Alice, who was filmed wiping herself after defecating near food items at Crab Circle in Kingston in October last year. In the meantime, several roads were rendered impassable in Johns Hall in St. James following a severe flooding on Saturday. The flood was caused by heavy rains.
Several cars were also washed away during the ordeal. We have some footage of the incident.
Serious? Watch out! Lord God! I wrote that, brother. Yo! Brother! See there, one next one coming up. Everything on the roadside gone. All people all stop. Watch out. That done. Yo. Oh, Jaja. Somebody in that, Somebody in that the one day. Can't stop, bro. Yo. Jaja God. Road.
A video there of the flooding on Saturday in Johns Hall in East Central St. James. For a response and a development on the two issues, we have with us the Mayor of Montego Bay, the Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Richard Vernon, and the Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Francine Phillips-Kelly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen, and Dr. Kelly, and good evening to your listeners.
Good evening. Let me begin with you, Mayor Vernon, regarding the video of that vendor. What have you been able to establish based on the investigations you did say were to be carried out?
Apparently, the damage is more than what we anticipated initially.
Oh.
So the superintendent needs some more time to finish his assessment, so he can give us some update, and then we will dispatch the necessary units and do the assessment in terms of damages and
No, Mayor, I think you misheard me. I'm speaking to the incident of the woman vendor urinating. What have you been able to establish?
Because you said the video.
Oh, I did?
Because
sorry.
you said the video.
All right, sorry. It's the video of the woman urinating.
Okay, I thought the one that was just being played.
Yes,
which
no.
is the flood. Oh,
okay.
My bad.
Okay.
All right. So ask me the question now pertaining to the lady.
Yes. What is it you have been able to establish? We know when we see videos don't necessarily capture everything. What have you been able to establish as facts?
So we have been advised by the St. James Health Services, and I mean Dr. Kelly is here to speak to the details of it. But we have been advised that the person seen in the video was interviewed, and initially on Saturday when the video was circulated or when we saw it, on Monday the person was summoned to the St. James Health Services for further investigation and questioning, and it turns out that the person is indeed in breach of the food handling regulation, and as a result will face some penalties pertaining to that. We also discovered that the person was a licensed vendor at the market up to 2021, when we decided that no vendor will be in the market facility carrying out their vending activities unless they are licensed to do so. Apparently, the lady decided not to renew her license after 2021 and went on the street to vend. She also, I was told by our manager of the facility that during the time when she operated, she was situated very close to the bathroom area. Yes, we have a very clean bathroom at the Charles Garden Market. We have a facility to carry out the vending, and we encourage the vendors who are applying their trade within the food sector, the ground provision and all of that, to utilize the Charles Garden Market for the activity. So what we saw was very inappropriate, and we will be taking the necessary actions moving forward, not just where the lady is concerned, but to the larger market area where persons are operating to ensure that they have their food handler's permit. And if they do not have the food handler's permit, the license, we will have to reconsider how they ascertain that, because we believe that each vendor that has a license to operate must also have their food handler's permit.
And the Mayor Vernon, despite her not being registered to stay in the market, she would still have access to the bathroom facilities, correct?
She would still have access to the bathroom facility, just like the customers.
So you've been able to establish that the incident of her urinating took place which day? When did it take place?
Repeat, please.
When did the urination take place?
Okay, so Dr. Kelly, I believe,
Dr. Kelly?
to the details.
Yes. Have you been able to ascertain when it took place?
Good afternoon. The specific day that it took place, we are not sure of. We did interview her on Saturday the 31st. At that time, she had no goods on her. So we don't know if it was earlier that day or if it was market day Friday, market day Thursday. We were not able to ascertain when, because we don't know who the video taker was either.
Did she provide a date as to when the incident happened, or an explanation as to why she felt the need to relieve herself in that manner?
She would not have known what date it happened. I believe she was totally unaware of. And up to when we interviewed her on Monday, she was trying to figure out how and when the video could have been done. Her explanation as to why she did that was that she had knee surgery and had difficulty ambulating to where she would need to go to use the sanitary convenience that's available.
Doc, have you been able to do a check of the area in question and had a chance to speak with the vendors how to really relieve themselves and why it is important for them to use the bathroom facilities?
With this specific vendor or with
all the vendors in that area? Frankly,
we have not specifically spoken with all the vendors. Herself we have spoken with, but this would have been general information which we give at our food handlers training for the individuals who come for training. They are advised as to all of what needs to be done when handling food when an individual is flying this kind of aware.
So what kind of punishment is she liable to attract, Doctor?
She is in breach of food handling regulations of 1998, and based on what we would have perused, she has a total of 6 breaches, which means she's liable for prosecution, and that will be dealt with this week in our court.
And what is the charge? What is the charge?
There are a few charges.
What are they?
As I said, there are 6 regulations. So the fact that she would have had contaminants near food that is for human consumption, that those are charges. The fact that she does not have a food handler permit, that's another charge. Just the various unhealthy practices that we would have identified, that's another charge. So it's not just a single charge that she would have to face.
And what's the punishment she could attract for this?
Based on the regulations, she can attract a fine of $1 million or up to 12 months imprisonment.
$1 million on each charge, or what?
I think that would be left to the court to decide. But if it was one charge, then it could be up to $1 million. If there are 6 violations, I think it would be the discretion of the court as to how they would do that.
And Dr. Phillips-Kelly, how often are the vendors within the market facility and the environs checked to ensure that they are compliant with the requirements for having a food handler's permit? Do you do spot checks? How exactly is this information ascertained?
Checks are done ongoingly in our food handling locations, inclusive of our markets. In terms of how often it's done, it's usually dependent on our manpower that we're capable of utilizing, because there are several, aside from the market, we have several other locations where food handling is done, be they restaurants or supermarkets, various locations. So we don't have a specific time that we would go to check food handlers, but they are checked on an ongoing basis.
Mr. Mayor Vernon, are you there?
I'm here.
Now, what happened in John's Hall last Saturday?
Oh, yeah, John's on.
Yes.
So, in the afternoon, about 3, I got a call from Councillor Hughes, who is the councillor for the area, saying that he has been blocked in by a land slippage along Dam Road. That's the name of the road in the Johnson area. That he was locked in from the where it's coming from, so he couldn't reverse, and where it's going. So all of that area completely blocked. So he was asking me to mobilize the units to clear the roadway. Didn't really understand at the time what was really happening until we saw the video started to circulate, and then I realized that it was an actual flood, not just a land slippage. So we mobilized the units to the area, and we cleared the roadway partially to allow the traffic to flow for that period. Now, since that time, the superintendent of roads and works has dispatched his team to do the proper assessment of the area. It seems to be a very extensive piece of roadway that has been damaged, and also areas where persons are situated, shops, homes, you name it. So our disaster coordinator is also looking into that matter to provide a proper report. We won't get a comprehensive report now, but we'll get a proper report that we can mobilize funding to really react to at this point in time. So we will know who, what has been damaged, and in terms of the infrastructure, the extent of the damage. We will get that. I believe by tomorrow I should have that information, because I spoke with the superintendent earlier, and he has negotiated less extensive work until the officers really started to move through the area. I mean, dialogue with the Member of Parliament as well. He reached out to me to provide some assistance in the area, Edmund Bartlett, and we're working together and doing as best as we can to ensure that the area is properly remedied and persons are safe when traversing the space. So that is what we're doing. That is what happened, and that is what we're doing at the moment.
Any indication preliminarily whether road works taking place in Montego Bay? I know you have a lot of road construction taking place in St. James, that as is being suggested in some quarters and social media, was partly responsible for the deluge and the water taking over what was a road.
Not based on the preliminary report. And what I come to understand is that within that space, the probability for slippage is very high, whether a road is being constructed elsewhere or not, based on how the earth is situated. So they would have to give me, the technical persons would have to give me more details pertaining to that. But initially, the report is not suggestive of a road construction contributing to what obtained on Saturday.
What is it suggesting?
It is suggesting that we had regular land slippage where there is loose earth, and the earth has been saturated, and as a result, it came down, blocked the dam road area, and in sections where the gully is, there are persons who built their businesses and homes basically on the embankment, and they are also adversely impacted by that. And we continue to advise persons, do not construct there, stay out of flood-prone areas, do not go to the gully embankment, you name it. But when things like these happen, these persons who do not yield, they often are victims in one way or the other. But I'm happy, no lives lost, no one maimed or injured or anything. I don't get any report to that effect. So I'm happy for that part. What we need now to respond to ensure that the infrastructure is back in place and able to serve the community.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mayor Richard Vernon, he's the chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, and Dr. James Francine Phillips-Kelly. She is the St. James Medical Officer of Health. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All the best.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Good, good. This is Nationwide at 5.